So let's go ahead and get started. I want to start with the Leela Project. How did you come
Yeah,
in contact with them?
the Leela Project. Yo, let me tell you, a blessing in my life, like 100%. So, uh, long story short, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna tell you the whole story. I hope you got time.
Please do.
So, I was introduced to Leela Project when I was at Cal State Fullerton. So I went there. I'm an alumni, and yo, like moving, like I told you, I grew up over there, and then moving to Santana, I didn't have like any friends. I just had my cousin, right? Which is, I love her so much. So it was hard for me at Cal State Fullerton because it's a commuter school. That's what they
Hmm.
always say. And I didn't really understand until I got there. And like, all you would see is like everybody just like passing by, like wouldn't even say hi. And I love making friends. Like I love making friendships and that stuff. And not gonna like I made a lot of really good friendships that I'm gonna have forever. But at the beginning it was really hard. And so I was like, how can I feel like I'm doing something? So like I was pretty depressed for a minute there. And then I was like really thinking like, yo, I need to find something so like somewhere where I could like help and put my time, because I love volunteering. I've been volunteering forever.
Hmm.
Um and I'm just like literally that whole week I was like, yo, like I really want to volunteer. I really want to volunteer. And I feel like I just put it out into the universe and it kind of just like fell like on my lap. I was like walking down, I think it's called Titan Walk.
Uh-huh.
And I was walking down, I'm doing the movement. I was walking down, just whistling. And then I turned to my right. Yeah, my right. Yo, I'm like so detailed. You're gonna have to help me come back sometime. So I turned to my right and I see this giant like wall of like it was like quotes or something. And there was this dude that was in my class, and he had been in like my other class like the previous semester.
Hmm.
And I always thought he was interesting because he was like, he'd always like speak up during class. And that's cool because I like to do that too. But he would like always speak up. And he would always wear a suit. Like for some reason, this
Oh, dang.
dude literally would always wear a suit and he'd carry a briefcase. And I was like, huh, I don't see that quite often. Like,
Yeah.
what do you do? And so he's wearing a suit and he was like talking to these people. And I was like, overheard him saying like, oh yeah, like, we're having this event and we need volunteers. I would love for you guys to volunteer. And I was like, wait, yo, I want to volunteer. And he's like, you want to volunteer? I was like, yeah, like, I want to volunteer. What is this about? And he told me, and I was like, yo, I'm in. Like, I was like, in my head, I was like, dude, this is what you've been hoping for. Like, it just happened so naturally. And then we walked to class together. And then ever since then, we've been friends. Right. Fast forward to our friendship and me, like, actually volunteering at the event. And the event was Barbers and Backpacks.
Hmm.
So I believe it was the second year of the Leela Project throwing that event. It was like the main event out of the whole year.
Hmm.
First time I had like even met the founder, who is a person I absolutely love. He's my mentor. I call him my mentor. He's like helped me out so much. His name's Dominic. And so I get there and I just see like all these people working together, and the whole that event is called Barbers and Backpacks because they give out backpacks full of school supplies
Hmm.
and free haircuts to the kids of the IE.
Oh, okay.
It was an incredible event. It was so awesome. And that's how I got introduced. And when I volunteer, dude, like I go in. Like I'm like, what do you need me to do? Let me do this. Let me lift this. Let me like, oh, you need help with that? Like I'm doing something. I finish it real quick so I can help you, right?
Right.
And so I think that like that's why Dom like really like started talking to me more. And I'm so glad that I met this guy, right, that was at my school, who then introduced me to this whole like community of incredible people.
Hmm.
And then the year later we had like a bunch of events within after that event. Like within that 1 year that event grew, right? But like during that whole time, like they were doing like turkey dinners for Thanksgiving. They were giving away shoes. Like the Legal Project has helped me out so much with like just helping me see how like people, when they come together, they can really make a difference.
Hmm.
um but anyway, so like right, so like I guess to tell you, like, that's how I even got involved with the Leela Project.
Yeah.
And stayed involved because I know that sometimes you can volunteer and then that's it. This wasn't the case. You volunteer when you volunteer with the Leela Project, like, they really bring you in and they really keep you as like family, which is like, I'm so thankful for. And ever since then, it's just been like volunteering, and they've been growing so much. Like, after that one Barbies and Backpacks, the following year, so it went from giving away like hundreds of backpacks to thousands of backpacks.
Dang.
To like a truckload full to the brim of backpacks, and the backpacks were full, and we gave away Converse, like so many things that we were able to give back to the community within that year. And then after that year, like, the Leela Project has worked with Amazon, like partnered with Amazon to be able to give people like dinners and all that stuff, has worked with Right House Foundation. You know, you've seen currently what they've been, you follow them, right, on Instagram? Okay, so like, they've been feeding like Southern California nonstop during this pandemic. Like, it is not stopping them, and I'm so glad that I was a part of that as well down here in Santana. But yeah, that's like, I just love the Leela Project, seriously. Dominic is such a blessing, and he's really just like brought a whole group of people together that really want to make a difference and like breathe helping the community, like 100%. Yeah.
You mentioned earlier that you said you've always been like willing to volunteer and like do charity work. When was like the first ever experience that you got to do something like that?
Yo, when I think about that, I cannot pinpoint. I cannot pinpoint an event, but I do know that I've been doing that like forever. But the most memorable, I think, if you want to hear about it, it was volunteering for, I forgot what the company was called, but it was setting up a Memorial Day race at Laguna Hills Community Center. Yeah, wait, I'm like speeding up. Okay, so the whole thing, like, I've always been willing to help because, you know, being a child, like, when you're really young, like, you can't really do much, you know, like, you don't have money, you can't help in that way or whatever. So I've always learned, and my mom's told me, like, if like time and volunteering is, you can always do that, you can always help, like, you owe time, like, nobody owns your time, like, just you. So whatever you're willing to do with that, like, you know, you should do it to help out your community. So I mean, I've helped out by, like, at my school when I was younger, like, I would stay after to like help set up for an event and all that stuff, help take down. Even when I was young, like, I just always wanted to help. Or like, if somebody needed help with like walking their dog, I know that doesn't seem like much, right? But like, to somebody who's like really old, who can't really
of
do
course.
that, like, I don't consider that charity work. I just like consider it as like giving your time to your community. So it's always been about giving back to your community. It's never been about like, how many hours can I do? It's like, nah, it's like, you got to give back. Yeah. But yeah, back to the whole, like, one that I really remember when I was in high school. Oh my gosh, this one play, it was the Memorial Day race set up. Yo, I told you I didn't have a car, right? So I take the bus everywhere. Oh my gosh, I got up so early. I don't know if you've ever taken the bus.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, so you know that you have to like be at the place like super early,
in
or
case
else you're
they're not on time.
Exactly, or else you're gonna be super late.
Right.
So I took the bus super early. I got off on the wrong stop. The sun was blazing, and it was already. It was. I think it was. I don't remember. It was during Memorial Day, so I don't even know. I don't even know my months or whatever.
May. I think that's May.
May. Right. Okay. So. So it's hot already. It's so hot. I'm like, how is it so hot already? It's like so early. I got up at the wrong stop. I had to walk all the way to it's at the Laguna Hills Community Center. I don't know if you've ever been there. No. Okay, so Laguna Hills Community Center, I had to walk up this like hill, right? And then I finally got there. I like don't see anybody. I'm like, what? Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I at the right place? And I don't think I had a cell phone back then. Or maybe, I don't remember. But so I get there like, dude, where is everybody? And then I finally see somebody like pulling out those big metal fences, like, you know what I mean? Like for the races, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I'm supposed to volunteer, but I don't know if I'm at the right place. Like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, we set up so many of those things. We set up like the water booth. I don't know if you hear my dog. we set up the food stations, like where they give out bananas and stuff. Yo, I was there, I think, since like 8 a.m. and I didn't leave till like 7 because the race started at 10 and ended at 4, but you had to break everything down.
Right.
Yo, that day was so hot and I didn't take care of myself. So,
Ooh.
like, I barely drink water.
Mm-hmm.
I got crazy sunburn and then I had to take the bus back home.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I was so sick. Like, I got sick.
Mm.
Like, I was about to faint. But I remember that I was like I mentioned earlier, like when I volunteer, like I go all out. I went way too hard. But it was really nice is to hear from the people that set up the whole thing. They're like, yo, like we really liked how you stayed like to finish everything. Like we don't get much volunteers that like go all the way through. And I was like, I thought this is what you're supposed to do, you know?
Yeah.
So that's really nice to hear because I lost your contact information. You know, I was like younger, I didn't really pay attention. But I do remember that I think it was the owner or the founder of that event was like, hey, like, if you ever, you know, need like a letter of rec or whatever, like, I would love to do that. So that was like my very first
Mm.
time where somebody was like, you did an amazing job.
Yeah.
Love to give you a letter of rec. And I was like, oh, thank you. But I was so tired and like so sick that I was just like, I need to go home.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I remember I got home and I was like, Mama, like, I don't feel good. She's like, yo, you don't take care of yourself when you go out there. I got burnt. And then to top it off, I think prom was in like the following week or something. It doesn't
Oh.
matter, but it was really bad. It was I guess that's one of the most like memorable because uh I got really sick
Mm-hmm.
at that part. But for sure, going back, like one of the most beautiful and memorable has been the Leela Project,
Mm-hmm.
and I think will always be the Leela Project.
Right on.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know like about like Leela Project story?
No, go ahead and tell me about that. I'm not sure I know exactly what you're talking about.
Okay, so the reason why it's called the Leela Project is because Dominic's grandmother
Mm-hmm.
uh, helped raise him, and her name was Leela. And she was all about giving back and serving the community. And so, you know, how Leela helped Dom, like it just like really inspired him to create this. And
Mm-hmm.
the message with Leela, or it's how do you say, yeah, like the message is to help boys and underrepresented boys in the community, so that way, like, you know, how that way there's not much of like a gap. Like it's like it says minimize the gap from low income children, so they can reach like their full potential. And like within 3 years, right, we're gonna go on to our 4th year, but within 3 years they've already, like I said, donated over 2,000 backpacks. We've you know, helped the community by giving away food during this pandemic, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like over, I think we've had over like 50,000 people
Mm-hmm.
during this pandemic.
Wow.
And, you know, of course, you know, the libraries aren't open, but the Leela Project has a learning center at the Corona Library, and they have literacy programs
Mm.
in the, I believe is Los Angeles school district.
Okay.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 schools. Yeah, which is like amazing. And that's like, you know, that's within 3 years.
Yeah.
And I do want to say a quote. I want to say 2 quotes. First one, Dom. He always says, I got you. And like, it's really short, but it has so much power to it. because he's so passionate, and like if he tells you he's got you, he's got you.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotten a lot of people in the community, which is incredible because I'm sure that, I mean, he's inspired me, and I'm sure he's inspired a lot of other people, you know. And then another one is Arthur. He's a right hand man. I don't know if you've seen him on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
He's so funny. He said, what was his quote? He said, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, I just like, I think about all the people that are a part of the Leela Project, and like for them to like say things like that and follow it with like, you know, just like keep following it, it just means so much. And like, I honestly feel really blessed to be around those people.
Mm-hmm.
They're like family, and you know, it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Now I know you've got the chance to kind of run your own
Yeah.
charitable work with the book drive and few other things too during the pandemic. How was that, like being in charge of something that big?
So, oh my goodness, it was it was so it was interesting. I've always been like, let's volunteer, like, let me volunteer, let me volunteer. But it was definitely different being the person that organized that. And
Mm-hmm.
I honestly could not have done it without the help of Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
You know Frosty. She's an
Yeah.
incredible activist, incredible poet, MC, you name it, she does it. And I feel so blessed to have her in my life as well. And it just started with a conversation. I had a conversation with my friend Blake as well. I don't know if you know him, Blake Jones. He's also a really incredible artist. Yeah, like it just started because of this pandemic. I was just really worried about like, how can we help, how can we help our community?
Right.
And I had talked to Blake, and I was like, yo, like I'm stressing out. Like, how can I help my community? And he was like, yo, like, let's just, like, right away, he's like, let's figure out a plan. He's like, look, I found this foundation, emailed them. I emailed them. They got back to me. And it just felt so like, I don't know, any foundation that helps during times of need is amazing, but it just felt very like I couldn't be hands-on with that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little stressed about that. And then I called Dom and I told him what's up. And he's like, look, Sam, um, he gave me his blessing. He's like, I want you to help run the Santa Ana chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can do something, run it by me and tell me, right? And so then like a few days later, I'm just FaceTiming Frosty, and we're talking about how like we want to help the community. And I was like, yo, like I was thinking that maybe we should do like a book drive. And
Mm-hmm.
she's like, yo, that's a great idea. And like she just got on it too. So
Yeah.
like, all these people got on it, and I was like, all right, let's go. I ran it by Dom. Dom was like, let's go, let's do it.
Uh-huh.
Whatever, I got you. He said, I got you. Whatever I can do to help, we're gonna do it. And so then that's when it started. That's when like the real like Leela Project Santa Ana chapter started, with this small idea of a book drive that just grew, because like we got, I think, over 1,000 books donated.
Yeah.
And
Dang.
that's how I met you. I
Right.
met you through Frosty.
Mm-hmm.
She had told me, hey, this person wants to help. And then I messaged you, and like I just realized, like, when you want to help the community, people will come, and they're gonna be incredible people.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was definitely like a little bit stressful, but it didn't matter because we were able to get all those books. We were able to help the community and bring knowledge to the community. And, I kept it really small just because of quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
When we gave out the books, it was just, my friend Marcella as well. I don't know if you know her, but she's a beautiful friend. She's one of those friends I met at Cal State Fullerton.
Okay.
That was always, yeah, she is so sweet. Like, such a sweet soul, dude. Not a bad bone in her body. Not even kidding. And so she's like, how can I help? And she made us posters, and it was just Frosty, Marcella, and we went out to the community right here. And when we saw, we didn't know what was going to happen. Like, we didn't know if people were going to take the books, and like we cleaned the books and everything. We tried our best. We wore masks, we wore gloves,
Yeah.
cleaned the books. And we just like knocked on the first door, and at first, like, they didn't open because obviously it's a stranger,
Yeah.
they don't know us. But then the first door opened and we explained to them, we're all bilingual. Um, we explained to them, and just like the smiles on the mothers and the
Mm,
children, like, it was worth it. All that, like, preparation, a little bit of stress was so worth it. Like,
mhm.
there was like a bunch of little kids, and they're like, oh, what do you like, do you have, like, let me see, what do you have? And
Yeah.
oh, I had somebody donated. I'm trying to remember her name. I can't remember her name, but she's so sweet. I remember when I went to go pick up the books, because we all went to go pick up the books.
Mhm.
um, I think her name was Ashley. She donated this set of Lego books
Ooh, okay.
that, like, all of the books were in such good condition, right? And I remember seeing this little kid, like, this little tiny little kid in his pajamas, and he looks up, and I was like, "This is for you." And oh my gosh, his face lit up. He was like, "Oh," and that was it. And we just were out there. It was super hot as well, but we just, we went to a lot of different communities, and then we were also, able to donate to foundations.
Mhm.
We were by, I think it was Daisy Street. Here, I was on First and Daisy,
Mhm.
and we were giving out in the apartments. And then we see this one foundation. It's called KidWorks,
Okay.
and we saw that they were doing a food drive. And then I believe Frosty went to go talk to them because I was still dropping off books. And then she calls me. She's like, "Hey, we could donate books here." And I was like, "Yo, like, that's awesome." So we ended up donating a bunch of books to them, and they were so grateful. And then we also donated to Orangewood.
Mhm.
I don't know if you heard of Orangewood.
The
Uh,
halfway home, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
It's on 17th Street, and like, they would take donations every Friday.
Mhm.
Um, and so we went to go do that, and they were like super grateful as well. And I believe we also donated, because we also got like adult books, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so we donated to the homeless shelter.
Mhm.
I called up the homeless shelter down here, by in downtown, and I couldn't deliver that to them. They had like a whole separate section
Mhm.
because they wanted to make sure that the books were like super clean, even though
Yeah.
they wanted to like sanitize them again. So
Yeah.
we donated to them as well. So it was really nice. Like, the small idea just grew, and it showed me like, okay, like, put the work in, like, you could really help people out. Yeah, it
Mhm.
was really, wow. I'll be rambling.
No,
I
that's
just
good.
feel like, nice. I'm like, I'm talking a lot.
That's good though, because it's super heartwarming to hear that story and a lot of other stories too that I heard at the beginning of quarantine. Because I felt like you said earlier, I was kind of unsure like what exactly was going to happen during quarantine. And when I work with the school district and after school program, so I know a lot of kids don't always have the best resources. And
Mhm.
I was just kind of worried to see like what was going to happen. A lot of people lost their jobs, were getting sent home, furlough, not making money. I just felt
Exactly.
like, I think everyone was kind of uneasy about the whole situation. But to see you with the Leela Project and other local restaurants feeding local school districts and that kind of stuff, that was really
Yeah.
heartwarming to see, kind of like the community helping out one another, the
Oh,
ones that were more well off to help out some of the lower income, communities and areas. Just because I was really worried, honestly, like it could have gone really bad if some of the stuff like what you were doing with the Leader Project and other stuff that I saw, if that wasn't happening, it could have been like a pretty ugly situation at the beginning of the pandemic. But fortunately, people like you and other people that are really great in this world, they're giving back and finding like you said time and giving like resources to other people that need it.
yeah, I definitely agree. I too was very worried. And you just hit on something about like some the resources. Like, that was like basically the main reason as to we even did the book drive.
Hmm.
Right. I told you about like, oh, we have this idea, and I was stressing out. But I remember Frosty and I were talking about like, yo, like, some of these kids don't have access to internet. Some of these
Right.
kids don't have computers, don't have iPads. The libraries are closed. They can't check out books, and that's why we really wanted to help. And I'm glad that we were able to.
Hmm.
And then also seeing the whole community, like, that's what I love about Santana, is like the community is so like welcoming.
Yeah.
You know, have
Tight knit.
school, yeah, like you have school districts giving away food for the families, and then you also have restaurants. I remember I saw this. It was on. It was on Instagram. I don't know if I'm saying the exact name correct, but it was like the Guadalajara restaurant in
Mm.
downtown. It was like a
Okay.
taco place. So the owner actually was giving away a bunch of vegetables.
Oh,
People
okay.
were lined up. He was like, I'm gonna just they're just gonna go to waste.
Yeah.
And like it's so awesome to see these people that have been in that situation before, right? And they know what it feels like to be struggling, and they
Mhm.
know that instead of wasting the food, like you got to give it back. You
Mhm.
got to give back to the community, you know, like you got to help whichever way you can. And it was like I'm all like getting teary eyed, but like it is so beautiful to see people that have like made it to the, I don't like, I mean like made it to the top, right? It's like they've made it, like they've helped their family, like go to a restaurant, they can give back.
Mhm.
Like that is so like, it's so important, you know,
Mhm.
like if you are coming from like a low income and then you're able to have financial stability, right?
Right.
Being able to give back in that way because now you can, right? Because
Mhm.
I mentioned earlier, like you can always give your time, which
Mhm.
is incredible, right? But like, you know, coming from somewhere that you're low income and then you made it with your restaurant or your business or whatever, and always sticking to your roots, like it's so important.
Mhm.
So you just reminded me of that because you mentioned like some restaurants were giving stuff away, and I was like,
Yeah.
because actually, like I don't know the owner, but I know that when my cousin, you know, I mentioned she is from here, from Santana.
Mhm.
She actually used to live in the neighborhood of like a couple houses down. The owner of that restaurant lived there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she told me like she had seen them like grow throughout the years. So just remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's super tight.
Random. Yeah,
Yeah.
random, but yeah.
Yeah. I like the whole book angle too of it because I feel like with the kids being out of school, like sure reading isn't for everybody. I think a lot of times too in school they assign you books and a lot of times you're not like super excited about books. But I think, like there's a book out there for everybody and,
Exactly.
whether it's Captain Underpants or something like
Yeah.
super philosophical, you know what I'm saying? Like you can
Yeah.
learn a lot whether it's the English language or whatever. It could be a book in Spanish or another language too. You can learn a lot
Yeah.
about the language, about whatever story they got going on. There's just all kind of stuff that you can learn through a book. So when you and Frosty posted something about like the Leela Project doing books, I was like quick to jump on it because I myself I was a big reader as a kid, but I kind of got like drawn away from it because I used to get teased for wanting to read. But I
Uh-huh.
remember like as an adult now I've started to pick it back up and like started to do stuff on my own. And
Mhm.
honestly, like reading's great. Like it's a great escape. And so when you were like, oh, like
Uh,
you need books, I was just like, bro, I have a bunch of books like in the closet that I don't like keeping books on a bookshelf. Like I used to want
uh-huh.
to do that. Like, oh, I want all these books that I've read.
Whole room.
But then they just sit there and collect dust, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So
yeah.
yeah, so I think it's good to pass on those books to other people that you may think might be interested in them. I've
Yeah.
donated a lot of books through the Boys and Girls Club. I've given them a lot to my kids and stuff like that. So I try and give out as many books as I can, just because it's like I said, I just don't want them to sit there and collect dust because I feel like that's a waste of a book.
Yeah, no, that's so true. And I love how you mentioned is like you can get lost. I don't know if you said those were your exact words, but like you just said like what we are also thinking is like it's a great not to say distraction, but it's a great way for the kids, you know, to be able to focus on something than this whole like pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Cuz you know, I mean, I don't know anybody that's gone through a pandemic,
Mm-mm.
right?
Nah.
Like this is so like what you know what's going on, and you know, as adults we can like, you know, calm ourselves down and maybe understand a little bit more, but with kids it's like, you know,
Yeah.
like we got to make sure that we protect them, and so for them to have like distractions like books knowledge is
Yeah.
really important, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so
Speaking
that's
of
really that.
Speaking of getting lost in books, you just brought like my memory back to the Hunger Games. Like I remember
Oh
I had to
yeah.
read that for a class in high school, but like
uh,
like we're supposed to read a certain chapter per week. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was so hooked on the book that I just read the whole thing in like 3 days, the first one.
Oh,
Have you
nice.
have you ever been like super hooked on a book and just gotten caught, like got lost in time and everything?
Yes, yes. My favorite book. I literally have read it. Really. I actually read it during this quarantine again. The Alchemist. Have you
Mm,
Have you read The Alchemist?
I haven't, no.
I love that book. You need to read it. I let my cousin borrow it.
Okay.
But after she's done with it, you go ahead and read it.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible book. I never say his name right. Paulo Coelho. I don't think I'm saying it right, but he is an incredible writer, and honestly, like the way he thinks is like it's pretty awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for you, but
Okay.
it's a wonderful book.
All right.
It
Well,
is
let me know.
a wonderful book. I guess the message behind it, I'll spoil that,
Okay.
is always going back to your roots.
Mm.
You know, we were just talking about this with the restaurant owners
Mhm.
and people giving back to the community. Like, yeah, it's a incredible book. You should check it out. I have the PDF too.
Okay.
I just there's something about books,
Yeah.
like physical books that I love
Yeah.
because I find I find that oh my gosh, if I read a PDF, I will pass out. Like when I think PDFs, I think schoolwork, and
Yeah.
I will pass out. Like I'll be like, I'll fall asleep. So I like the physical books.
Yeah. And it's tricky too because when you're reading something on the screen, there's so many distractions. Because if it's on your
Oh my
phone,
gosh, yeah.
Twitter is like a click away. Social media is a click away. On If you're on your laptop, you can like easily go to Amazon or wherever you like usually.
Apparently not me because I don't know where my charger is.
Oh.
I need to.
But you
You
know
were
what I'm
saying,
saying.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's so true. The
Hmm.
distractions are real.
Hmm.
But when you have that physical book, you just like focus on
Hmm.
it. And I've heard different things. Like I have some friends that are like, nah, like I like PDFs.
Hmm.
I'm like, all right. They're
Yeah,
like,
to
I don't.
each their own.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. But personally, I love the physical books.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
same
like to highlight them. I
here.
like to highlight books. Sometimes I just highlight the whole page. Like I
Like,
think I need like a giant highlighter. Just I'm one of those people.
okay.
You know how like some people like highlight like little parts. Like I do that, but then I get carried away. I'm like, oh, I like this one. So I have a highlighter and a pencil. So because I like to highlight and then like write a little bit of my thoughts as to why I highlighted this.
Mm, that's
Yeah.
dope.
So the book that I'm gonna let you borrow is gonna be way. And if you want to highlight things, like go ahead. I
Okay.
think I like to see what other people like got out of a book. But
Okay.
sorry, I cut you off there.
No, you're good. You're good. Anything you're currently reading right now?
Right now, I'm not reading.
Okay.
No, right now I'm trying to write. Uh,
Um,
yeah,
all right.
yeah, yeah. But I
Well,
do read this one book. It's about Tupac and the Notorious B.I.G. Biggie.
mm,
Yeah, it's called Murder Rap.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know who the author is, but I have the book right here. It's called Murder
Okay.
Rap. Yeah.
Going back to the writing thing, during
Mhm.
quarantine, did you feel yourself as a creator a little bit more creative with all this time on your hands, whether it was music,
Uh-huh.
writing, or anything else that you do?
So this definitely comes in waves.
Hmm.
Like, because of just like the whole situation, like it's a lot of stress. Sometimes it's hard to find inspiration when
Hmm.
you're feeling down. And I know that I've written some things like when I felt down or when I felt happy, but it's been a wave. It hasn't been constant. I actually up until like I think I had writer's block for like a month. Yeah, and that was really frustrating. That was so frustrating. And I'm sure you know because you like to write too. I saw
Yeah,
you posted something. I saw you posting something the other day and I was like, that's awesome. I'm very proud of you that you posted it.
yeah. Thank you,
Yeah,
thank you,
but
thank you.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna finish answering your question and I'm gonna ask you the same thing.
All right,
Um,
all
we're
right.
getting ready. So yeah, it's been up and down, but definitely the things that I've written, I really like them.
Hmm.
It's been a little bit harder to complete songs. I have like verses, but poetry has been a lot easier. I don't know why, but writing poetry during this time has been easier than trying to write a song.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
What about your photography? Have you had to take in a break from that?
So I have, just because, like, distance wise, but
Hmm.
I did take pictures. I took the pictures of Undecided Future
Hmm.
and of Anthony, Anthony,
Yeah,
AJ.
James.
Yes, I took a video of my brother. I'm trying to work on it. He's getting mad at me. He's like, "Yo, where's my video?" He's like a he likes to run, so like I put on my skates. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do with what you got, right? So I wanted
Right.
to get cool, like, action shots of, like, skating by, like, those. I don't know. You've seen those videos, like those, like.
Yeah.
So I threw on my skates. Yo, I did not eat it, but I almost did plenty of times. And I was like, okay, like, Sam, this camera, if you break it,
Hmm.
I throw my skates, and I was just like, so I've been working on that. That was really cool. Yeah, such pictures of Undecided Future. They're incredible guys. I don't know if you listen to their music.
Hmm.
Awesome. Anthony James. And then I'm currently trying to, like, see who I can take pictures of. Like, I've asked my friends to send me ideas, because the whole reason why I started taking pictures during quarantine, my friend Robin, she posted on Instagram, um, saying, like, hey, I want to do, like, a project during quarantine where I come to you guys' house and I take pictures, like, from my car, like, from a distance. And I was like, yo, like, I really want to do that. And she's like, yeah, like, let me know when. And then it kind of never really happened.
Mm.
And then I was like, yo, I want to do that. So I hit her back up and I was like, yo, like, let's do it. Like, I'm going to help you. She's like, okay. So I don't know if she's been taking pictures. Everybody's different with, what's going on. But I
Right.
definitely, like, the reason, like, the pictures, like, Undecided Future and AJ, I was thinking that of the, like, building a portfolio. But I definitely want to do some more.
Hmm.
I have to figure out, like, a place, and I have to make sure that I'm, like, ready to, like, because, like I told you, I've been pretty quarantined,
Yeah.
ready to go out there. If you ever want to take pictures,
I got
let
some
me know.
ideas.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah,
All
let's
right.
do it. I don't know if you see it. My backpack's right there.
Yeah, I can see
Like,
it. I can see it over there.
yeah,
Yeah.
I can't back, and also, like, oh yeah, I'll wait. Now to your. So how's Reading been?
It's been good. Honestly, I want to say before quarantine, like I always wished I had more time to do a lot of things because I feel like I'm a person with who wants to put on a lot of different hats and just like,
Oh, I feel you.
just like
Mm-hmm.
constantly like, create and do different things. But I was always limited because like I work or whatever else I had going on. And so like the first month of quarantine, honestly, I felt like really good writing. Speaking of photography, my mom was actually digging through her closet. She found this like old Minolta camera from the 80s, like that uses 35 millimeter film. And
Uh-huh.
I started playing around with that. And, I would like just take, I want to take pictures of anybody. It was just like pictures around the town because obviously it was a little bit more deserted.
Uh-huh.
And that was like so early during the quarantine. And I would, like I would go on my bike and have my bike, the camera on my neck and everything, and kind of same thing as you with the skates, like try not to fall
Yeah.
while taking pictures and stuff. But honestly, yeah, I thought the writing went really well, like during quarantine. Like I had a lot of different emotions, and I feel like for me, I didn't have like the best way to, as growing up, I didn't have a really good outlet to express those emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So writing became like a really good thing for me in college.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, I remember as a kid, like I wanted to like be a rapper, I wanted to like write raps, and I always did write stuff in my notebook to rhyme and everything, but
Uh-huh.
I just never had like the voice to do it. But once I started doing it again, and I went to a few like poetry club meetings at Sacramento State. I never really was like fully invested into it at the time, but I just like started watching more YouTube videos of that kind of stuff. And I had another friend who I didn't even know she was into that, and she went on to get her master's degree in that. She kind of
Mm-hmm.
helped guide me through certain things too, and so it just became like it always was like in the back of my head, like, hey, I want to do more of this. I want to do more of this. I want to do more of this. And when quarantine happened, I was like, ooh, I could do more of this. And I kind of
Hey.
capitalized. I thought as much as I could, honestly. Honestly, at the beginning of quarantine, I was like, ooh, like I'm going to use this time to have like a book out or something, right? Kind of set the goal a little too high, but honestly, it felt really good. And, I feel like I'm a little further along than I would have been if this quarantine didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
But when we had to go back to work, I was really bummed. I was like, man, like I still make time here and there, but it's like 3 times a week versus every day,
Oh,
for 2 to 4 hours, that kind of thing.
yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. You definitely took advantage of that. Because you're right, like going like having responsibilities such as work, it definitely minimizes the time where you can really focus on something you're very passionate about.
Hmm.
Um, and I feel very lucky to know that you are a really good writer.
Thank you.
You definitely put a lot of passion into your words. And I hope that I see a video of you reading them one day
Hey,
out loud.
coming
Out loud.
soon. Coming
Yeah.
soon.
Oh, he said coming soon. That's awesome. But yeah, going back to the whole like, have I been writing during quarantine? I guess I wouldn't touch on like quarantine in general, how it has been like, as it's both good and bad, kind of like a yin and yang, right?
Hmm.
Bad, high stress situation. We're all a little
Hmm.
lost, right? You know, it is kind of like one of those moments where you just don't know if you're going to be able to have a job, right? You said like you were off
Yeah.
for, that could be like not having a job could be like, okay, like I have more time, but then it's like, oh, I need to pay stuff.
Yeah.
What we're going to do, right? So that's those are kind of like the bad ones, right? But the good about it is definitely that like feeling of like you can be with your family more, you have more
Mhm.
time to do things that you really like. You can really focus on your health, right? You know,
Yeah.
but then there's also
Self-care.
like it's like junk food, working out. It's kind of like up and down.
Hmm.
But I would say like good is like you focus on your health if you want to go out and runs, like you have more time for workouts and stuff, you have more time with family,
Yeah.
um have time for ideas, right? Like writing, like I did say that I've had like writer's block, but at the same time I have written some pretty nice things,
Hmm.
right? I posted some poetry, I posted a couple of raps on my page, um and then also like the unity that it's brought, right? We talked
Hmm.
about we've been talking about it. It's kind of like the whole message right now during our conversation is that unity and community, like
Hmm.
seeing that during these hard times people really come together to help out,
Right.
like 100%. So that's one of the good things that I've seen from this, the situation,
Yeah.
right? Seeing that good side.
Yeah. And I think that kind of got lost in the shuffle because I know you and we both come from like that similar generation where when we were younger, we grew up in a time before cell phones, before social media was like really like part of the mainstream culture. So I felt like, at least for my sake, like I knew my neighbors a lot more growing up as kids. And,
Uh,
like your parents were more welcoming to let you go run out with the neighbors' kids and not worrying about like, oh, like we're scared because,
yeah.
shit happens, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but I felt like you said, the community being unified. That's something I think got kind of lost, like from 2010 on, like after Facebook got really big and everyone
Mhm.
went on their screens and no one was going out anymore. Like now I don't even really say hi to my neighbors. One of my neighbors is like a former teacher of mine, so I do say hi to him because
Mhm.
obviously we have that connection. But everybody else, it's kind of like a lot of people move in and out of this neighborhood, so it's not like really like there's a solid connection between everybody. So I can't go to this neighbor like my parents used to. Like if a neighbor knew how to do like fix leaks and stuff, like they'd be like, oh, let me go ask this neighbor
Oh,
because my sink is leaking, that
yeah.
kind of thing. So I felt like through all that, I feel like during this pandemic, the community kind of got put back together. And it's nice to see whether it's in communities like Santa Ana, Anaheim, Garden Grove, and other
Mhm.
areas of Orange County, just kind of coming together and helping each other out wherever it's needed.
Yeah, no, definitely. That's very true. You mentioned that we grew up in like a era or time before like really screens.
Hmm.
And I do agree, like, even though I never really had like a solid like neighborhood because we moved around a lot, living in Southern Orange County, it's hard to keep up with rent.
Yeah.
Uh, but I remember one of the really like memorable communities was in Lake Forest. It was called Pheasant Creek or Pheasant Run, and my childhood was like a lot of like really good memories were there. And we like almost we didn't like have internet you know, we didn't have like a computer.
Hmm.
I think we did have a computer, honestly. Like we got it during Christmas, and it was like the big clunky ones. But like it was in my room, and like I barely used it. And
Yeah.
we like didn't have internet. We were playing like that space. I don't know if you remember. There was like polar bowling or something like that. Did
Oh,
you play that game?
I don't polar bowling. No, I don't think
Or
so.
something like that. I don't know. It was like this pinball machine online,
Mm.
or like it came with the computer. I'm rambling, but anyway, the whole point was during that time, you know, we didn't have that much like screen time, whatever. Like, definitely, like, you know, still the generation where like we went outside. I'd be like, "Mom, I'll be right back. I'm going to
Yeah.
so-and-so's house." Like, we'd like run around the lake, scooter. We'd fall, like get
Yeah.
hurt. It didn't matter. We come home super late.
Hmm.
You know, like I don't know. I don't know if I could do that with my kids. Like
Yeah.
we'd come back. We come super late, and I'm like all sweaty, like drinking water, like you
Yeah.
know. You know what I mean? Like the when
Yeah.
little kids drink water, they're like, "Oh." They like don't breathe. So I definitely had that childhood where like I would just play like nonstop, like go out, play tag, play soccer. We did a lot of wrestling.
Mm.
You know, I'm the only girl out of
Yeah.
brothers, so like it was always like super like boyish sports. You know, so that was really nice.
Hmm.
Hope I didn't get sidetracked,
No,
but
you're good.
that came up, like that was really cool. That was
Yeah.
definitely feel for the kids right now. You know, I've been seeing a lot more, like, you know, we're talking about unity. I have been seeing a lot of kids, like when I go take my dog for a walk, like a lot of the kids, I've been seeing them more out, which is cool, you know, and they are being careful. Like it's really cool, like they're wearing their masks and everything, you
Mm.
know. But it's nice to see that slowly the kids are going back outside, like
Right.
slow, wearing their masks and like playing, because they definitely need distractions.
Hmm.
You know, we were blessed to not have to go through this as a child.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can only imagine what that'd be like in middle school or in high school, and like having everything, taken away, especially like, you and I both played sports, to have like a season taken away, to have, I wasn't a big on dances either, but like even to have prom or graduation taken away, that,
Yeah.
that'd be like so disappointing, because you work so hard for all this, and this is supposed to be this like big moment, especially too, like I know in college, we were both first generation college graduates, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine having our ceremony taken away from us. Like, man, that'd be like devastating, like, especially for my grandparents and my parents, who worked so
Yeah.
hard to put me in those places.
Exactly. So shout out to all the graduates.
Hmm.
You know,
Yes.
you graduated during a crazy time right now. You know, for you to keep motivated to still finish.
Hmm.
You know, I had friends that graduated this year. You know, they were bummed out that they couldn't walk, but they trust me. They were like, "I'm gonna finish. Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get a diploma no matter what."
Hmm.
You know, so that yeah, that's very true.
Hmm. Going back to the writing and your music, did you have like a particular moment in your life that you inspired you to do that, or was there a particular person that inspired you to get into that?
Yes, to both. Actually, so when I first came to the United States, like music has always been a part of my life.
Hmm.
It's actually interesting because up until now, I've really like I guess yeah, this year is when I showed people that like, hey, I really like to rap and I can kind of sing, and I like talk to my mom. My mom, my brothers, like they were the ones that knew that I like to rap. Rap music especially is the reason as to why I really learned English.
Mm.
Being a kid coming to a whole new country, a whole new life, leaving behind like completely different lifestyle, and just being dropped into this whole like, oh, you got to learn a new language, right?
Yeah.
School definitely helped, but hip hop, yo, 103 The Beat, I believe that's what it was called.
Hmm.
I don't know if you know that radio station.
Yeah. 100.3 The Beat, I believe it was.
Shout out to 103 The Beat. They like I always credit them that they really helped me learn English, and it was rap. It was rap music, yo.
Hmm.
Because like I did mention, like music has always been like a part of my life. Living in Mexico is like it's a little bit of a blur sometimes.
Hmm.
But my mom did tell me that, like, oh yeah, like you used to sing with your grandma. Your grandma sang really nice. Like you guys would always be out there like singing. And my abuelo, he actually was known as like el músico gigante, and
Mm.
he also was like an incredible artist, and he just like an incredible person too. That's what they tell me. I never got to meet him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's always been there, and I didn't even realize it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I got to the United States, learned English. Hip hop was a big part of me learning English, and absolutely loved hip hop. It was a way that I could express myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as this little girl, I still have like a little notebook that I would write
Yeah.
in, and I remember being so excited about hip hop because, you know, living in South Orange County, you know, it wasn't always easy to pick up an instrument because of like you couldn't afford it, right? And then I remember this one time I was trying to rent one, but they didn't let us rent it because my mom didn't have a valid driver's license. So
Mm.
like hip hop has always, you know how like hip hop to me means freedom
Mm-hmm.
and free, right? Like it was free. Like I could write, I didn't have to pay anybody for me to write my rhymes, for me
Right.
to, you know, all this stuff. So hip hop is definitely a huge I don't know how to explain it, but ever since I was young,
Mm-hmm.
like ever since I was young, I've been writing. You know, it's been like a little secret of mine. Only a
Yeah.
few people knew, and if I did tell them, they'd be like, "Yeah, right."
Yeah.
No, yeah. Like I remember when I remember this one time in high school. This is like fast forward to high school, right? I remember everybody would just meet up at like this bus stop, and I remember that some of my friends were like they were like spitting rhymes and stuff and like beatboxing. Oh yeah, I like to beatbox too. I'm not the best, but like, you know,
Okay.
they were like beatboxing and they were all like spitting their rhymes, and my heart was racing. I was just standing there. My heart was racing, and I was like, should I? Should I? Should I?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'll do it. And so they were beatboxing, I rhymed, and they were like, yo, like, I didn't know you could rhyme. I was like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna go now. It's like, I was like, yeah, I actually really love to rhyme. But so like, only a few people knew that I even did that. You know, my brothers, even with my brothers, like, I would hear them, like, with their friends, like, spit a flow,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in Spanish and stuff. That's why I love to include Spanish and English. Like I love to put it together with my rhymes because, like,
Yeah.
you know, even though I was introduced to, like, it helped. I say it helped me with like English and stuff. Like they're still rap in Espanol, like, you know. So
Yeah.
that's why like it's always been in my life. Whether like Calle 13,
Mm.
you know Calle 13.
Yeah.
Yeah. 13, Don Omar, Wisin y Yandel, like they're kind of like reggaeton, but to me it was still like rap, especially Calle 13. Oh my gosh, his flow is immaculate.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember when that song would come on and be like, yeah, you know that song?
Yeah. I
Or
know
no?
what you're talking about.
Or
Yeah.
bump it right now. So yeah, I feel like I'm saying this over and over, but like it's always been a part of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to talk about inspirations, it would definitely be Calle 13, it'd be Don Omar, it'd be like, I take inspiration from different places, like Caifanes, so it's like rock in Espanol, right? I don't know if you heard of Caifanes. And then cumbias también, and then for like gangsta rap, right? Tupac, the Notorious B.I.G., Biggie, especially the song Suicidal Thoughts. Have you
Mm.
heard that song?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, like, I don't know why. I was like this young girl, like, listening to Suicidal Thoughts, and I was just like, this is hard. Like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, being able to hear that type of emotion, like, it's like, wow, like, this is real, you know, real life. I don't know if you know, like, the lyrics, right?
I think the first it opens up as like,
Fuck it.
I don't
When
want
I
to die.
I'm gonna go to hell because I'm a piece of shit and they ain't
Yeah,
hard
that one. Yeah, yeah.
hell. Yes, dude. Oh, I would put that on repeat. And I was like, this is amazing. And like Tupac, I think it was Ambitions as a writer.
Yeah.
That song is hard. And also Wu-Tang Clan. Yo,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is all this is all because of my brothers.
Right.
Like everything that I was introduced was because of my brothers, because 103 The Beat, you know, they would want to listen to it. Yeah, like they just like showed me all this thing, and it's like, it's not even like they like be like, hey, look, Sam, like look at these people, you know, look at these rappers. No, it was like just hearing them, you know, just play it, hearing them, like, you know, listening to them on the radio and stuff. But like Wu-Tang Clan didn't really play it on 103 The Beat because it's like older, you know.
Yeah.
But like it was I don't know who sings this song, but it was like booty 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 rocking everywhere. You know, this new booty. Like I was listening to that in elementary school, dude. Like come
No,
on.
I know.
But like all that stuff inspired me, you know, to keep writing. I had this one notebook. It was like this. It was one of these notebooks.
Uh-huh.
And I think my mom gave it to me. I had written so many raps. I lost it. I was so bummed out. And I have this other one, like I have a little diary. And I still have it. It's over there. I should have brought it. But I had like a little lock in it and everything. I thought I was slick, so nobody could read my rhymes and stuff. But then one day I found it and the lock was off. And I'm pretty sure one of my brothers read my rhymes and stuff, but they didn't say anything.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were cool. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to tell you that, like, I've been writing like rhymes and poetry for a long time. It's just up until now, I was like, you need to go through with this dream that you had as a little girl. Like you mentioned, like you wanted to be a rapper and stuff, right? This dream as you had as a little girl, you need to go and do it. You need to pursue it because it's always been there. You know, I mentioned like music has always been a part of my family. But I think the reason why it took me this long to finally be like, hey, I like to do this. This is something that I've been doing for like a minute. Let me show you now, right? The reason why I guess I got sidetracked was because being a immigrant, you know, sometimes it's really hard to focus on your passions when you gotta work.
Yeah.
When you gotta focus. And you know, I think that's one of the reasons I didn't start showing, you know, the Samy Love until after I graduated. Until I was like, hey, I completed my goal of getting my bachelor's, you know, and it just kept calling me all those years. It just kept like it'd been wanting to get out. But I'd be like, okay, like, sorry, like you got to focus on, you know, school. You got to focus on working. You got to focus on this. But, no, after graduating, you know, I was like, you got to do it, Sam.
Yeah.
It's now or never. You know, you want to be able to look back at your life and be like, you tried.
Right.
You really tried. You know, I don't want to look back and be like, what if I did it? Like, no, I want to say, hey, I did it. It either worked out or it didn't work out, but you did it. You did it. And because the plan was, you know, the passion and the dream of being a artist so that I can help my community in that way, right? With spreading the words and just like love was always there. But like my goal for education is to become a psychiatrist.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so after I graduated Cal State Fullerton, I was like, hey, let's take a break because you've been in school literally forever. Like you've been forever. I never stopped. Like, you know, elementary, middle, high school, community college, and then college. I never stopped. And I was like, dude, you're burning yourself out. You need to like take a break, and then you study for your you know, medical school, study for that. And it was during that time that I was like Sam, school is always going to be there.
Right.
You know, school is important, but like, it doesn't mean that if you don't go to school, you're not a knowledgeable person. That's something that I really want people to know is like, you know, you don't have to go to school to be a knowledgeable person. Like, yes, it's
successful even.
Yeah, exactly. And that, you know, we can talk about this too. I don't want to get sidetracked, but when I moved to Santana, I really realized that like anything you want is at your grasp. Like you could work for it. And it's like, I know this family, they're owners of a restaurant, right? And the father like literally he was able to build this restaurant. It was able to bring his family forward, you know, and he, the highest he got was community college,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and like, he'd always tell me like, hey, you just, to be successful, you just got to work and
Yeah.
you got to focus. Like, you got to focus. You literally can do anything you put your mind to. You just got to focus.
Mm-hmm.
So sorry, I guess I drank.
Oh, you're good.
I forgot what I was saying. Just kidding. So no, wow, I really blinked. But yeah, like, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, and then I was like, you know what, Sam, like, let's do it. Right? I mentioned early, now or never. So let's do it. Music it's always been in you, and I'm so glad it did. Noah, like, I'm so glad that I finally was like, do it. And honestly, there's so many people that that I want to thank for that, right? My mom, my brothers, because my mom has always been like, Samy, like, she's the one that really heard me rap. She was
Mm.
like, Samy, like, just do it, just start a YouTube channel, like, do it, like, hazlo, you can do it, I love your voice, blah blah blah. And I was like, okay, mom, like, I'll do it. But I didn't really finally do it until everything came full circle. And shout out to the Cool Lab.
Yeah.
100%. And this is something that I've heard over and over, and it's beautiful. Every single person that I've talked to at the Cool Lab has like they just like want to thank the Cool Lab for everything, and I agree. You
Mm-hmm.
know,
100%.
all of these amazing, incredible artists, you know, like,
Yeah.
seeing them has definitely pushed me to finally be like, yo, there's this community that like helps each other do it, and it's just like, went for it, never going back. Never going back. Yeah. So if y'all ever hear this, shout out Cool Lab, shout out Vincent, shout out Rocky, shout out Brian, Apollo Bebop, Frosty, I'm gonna name everybody. No, seriously, like, every single person that steps foot on that stage, like, has influenced me to finally be like, hey, do it, Sam.
Yeah. I think for me, it helps get like the creative juices flowing. Cause I think going back to what you were saying earlier, I was born here, but I come from, family that immigrated over here. And I feel like sometimes your options are limited, like as to what you can do. Like, yes, they're going to stress school. And my parents didn't tell me like, oh, you have to do this or this, like be a doctor.
Exactly. I feel that.
I just felt like, just from seeing your uncles, seeing my parents, my dad worked a labor job, my mom worked a regular office job. Either of them had college degrees. My uncles, I have two uncles that started their own thing and like they have successful businesses. But even then, it's still working with their hands and it's like labor type work. So I felt like, that was kind of like my only options. And even like growing up in school, there wasn't a lot of friends that I had like directly. I played a lot of sports, so like no one was really like creating music or taking photos or into that kind of thing. But like just doing with the podcast and going to the Cool Lab and meeting different people, and it doesn't have to be making music. Just I just feel like I get so creative. Like I get like inspiration from those people, whether it's to draw or whether it's to keep doing podcasts, whether it's to keep doing something else. I just feel like I draw a lot of inspiration because that's like a creative bubble. And like
100%.
how that saying was like, you are what your 5 closest friends are, or your 5 closest people to you are. So I feel like once you start changing that circle of 5 closest people to you, you start to see the change in their life. And I feel like that's where I've like kind of at right now too, compared to like 3, 4, 5 years ago,
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. That saying is really awesome. I definitely agree. And it kind of goes back to everything, right? We've been talking about Leela Project, for example, surrounding yourself with people that are very open-minded, are down to help, whatever, like, and then also with like the Cool Lab, like everybody there is so loving and they're down to help you and create. Like all those people, surrounding yourself with those type of people is very important, right? So that's pretty cool. And also shout out especially BTE. You mentioned like not a lot of people were creating music, right? Like when you were younger. Going back to growing up in like South Orange County, I didn't get to see a lot of that either. And if it was, if they were creating music, like, it was nice music, but it wasn't the type of music that really inspired me. But then Brian, he went to the same high school as I did.
Okay.
And I'll tell you, the first time I ever met him was when he was spitting his rhymes. He just went out there to the quad with his boombox and a microphone. I believe it was a microphone. I don't remember if he had a microphone out, but there was a boombox playing music, and he was just spitting. And I was literally like walking, and I was like, that was my face. And I was like, yo, this person lives here. This person makes this type of music. It was like the first time that I ever felt inspired and really close to like music where I, like, you know, I told you when I moved here to Santana, I grasped, like I felt like I could grasp. That's how I felt when I first heard Brian. So I feel like I annoy him or whatever. And I tell him all the time, I literally like big shout out to Brian. He's been a big inspiration in my musical life.
Yeah.
I followed his work since the day I literally saw him performing in front of all these people. He's grown so much, and it's pretty cool how all of this, right? I mentioned full circle, how all of this came to be, right? Met Brian in high school, followed his music, and then Apollo Bebop, right?
Yeah.
Santana, Apollo Bebop, Kulab, like that's one of the main reasons I went to Kulab is because I want to see the band.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's
it's just
crazy.
like, wow. Yeah.
And I think you touched on something even bigger picture. Like you got inspired from Brian because you were like, oh, like this is like right in my community. I think like just bigger picture, like Orange County should do a little bit better job of not just promoting artists, but like promoting other successful people, other successful stories. Because like growing up, I didn't know Gwen Stefani and No Doubt came from Anaheim.
Exactly.
I didn't know Sublime came from, you started off at Garden Grove. I didn't know, there's not a whole lot of other like bigger artists on that stage, but like even guys like Fora or Young Pinch and people have like some kind of status outside of just Orange County. I feel like they need to do a better job promoting, or even like the brands that come out of here, or I don't know who, like other people who made it out of Orange County. Cause when you feel like realize that, oh, like, hey, they went to my high school or they grew up down the street from where I grew up. Like that's kind of inspiring versus, you know, like if you don't see that around you, you're kind of just like, like I'm just an average person, you know?
Yo, and I think that movement, because of the Kulab, you know, in bands like Apollo Bebop and artists like Rocky and Fosse, like, and Alaz, you know, Vincent, it has started to really be like, yo, this is Orange County. Wait, this is Santana.
Yeah.
You know, like it's really starting to, I'm seeing that it's starting to make a movement. And even during this quarantine, you know, like the lives that are happening are still connecting people with music, and it's still growing.
Right.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So I did want to shout out Brian, because he's definitely if he ever hears this, like, yo, Brian, you're amazing. You really helped me out. Yeah.
And come on the show, man. I've been trying to get him on too.
Yeah.
All right. Well, to wrap things up, I do like to ask a couple fun quick hitters just to kind of help the audience.
Let's go. Dang, the time by quick. I was like, yo, let's talk till the sun sets.
Yeah. Hey, we could, right?
Yeah.
What's your favorite toppings on a pizza?
Pineapple. I'm just kidding. Wait, no. I answered that so quick. I feel like this is like one of those speed rounds. Favorite topping on the pizza. Shoot, this is gonna take forever. You're asking the wrong person. I'm literally drawing out a pizza in my head.
Okay, all right. Take your time.
Like I'm thinking, like when I go to the pizza press, what I get. Oh, roasted tomatoes. Sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried. Okay.
I really like them. I really like dried tomatoes.
Okay.
Yep. That's what it is. Yep. Okay.
If you could have if you could have any kind of exotic pet, what would it be?
Oh my god. An exotic pet. Oh, okay. For sure, a wolf. That's exotic enough, right?
Yeah.
I was looking up or a tortoise. I was looking up they're like dog wolves or something like that. I don't know. There's like, you know, it's like a wolf and dog. I don't know.
That's like a husky?
Not even a husky. Like they're really big. Yeah, you Google them. Trust me, they're real. I'm not just saying random stuff.
All right. If you could talk to any person, dead or alive, or multiple people, who would they be?
I would definitely want to talk to my family members.
Mm.
Yeah. I was telling you about my grandpa. Um, they called him the Musico Gigante. Definitely my grandfather. And I have 3 relatives that unfortunately passed away when they were really young.
Mm-hmm.
I'm named after one of them. Her name was Margarita. And she passed away really young, and I really wish that I was able to meet them. So if I could, I would talk to them. And sorry, I'm about to sidetrack you. I know it's like the ending.
Mm-hmm.
But I was named after Margarita because she actually had the same beauty mark as me right here. Yeah.
Wow.
So when I was born, they saw this and they're like, yo, that is like, I don't know. That's incredible to me.
Yeah. Like, what are the coincidences
Yeah.
of that, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, my dad, that's my middle name, Margarita.
That's
So my Samantha, right, obviously. But my middle name is Margarita.
And you're the only one in your family that has that mark right there?
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Ooh, wow, that's deep.
Yeah, exactly. So, if I don't know if she was a singer, but if she was, I'm definitely a vessel for her.
Mm.
I do want to say this, right? I know you're asking me quick hitters, but one thing is like art. I heard it once. I think Tupac said this is we're a vessel for all of our like ancestors.
Mm-hmm.
So everything you hear like in art, like it's a vessel like from our ancestors. And I don't know if you believe in the spirits or ancestors and that power, but I definitely sometimes I feel like I'm just writing, like they're writing through me.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Right on.
Okay, not so quick hitters.
It's all good. It's all good. Next question. If you were stranded on an island, but food and water were provided, what are 3 things you'd want to bring to pass the time?
Music.
Mm-hmm.
Music for sure. Books for sure. And what else? Books, music. I could bring somebody.
Yeah, you can bring someone.
Okay. I love my mama, but I think I would definitely choose my cousin.
Ooh.
I love my mom. I love my mom 100%, and I would want to. You know what? I'll trade over the books. I'll trade the books for my mom and my cousin.
Okay.
Because like, yes, books, like you have all these stories, but you could always make stories around the campfire with
right.
So I'm gonna say music,
Mm-hmm.
my mom, my cousin.
Okay.
It'd be the funnest time because you said food would be provided.
Yeah, food and
we chilling.
Yeah,
we're chilling. We're listening to music, telling stories, and we're dancing.
there you go. All right. I like to hear that.
Yeah.
All right. If you could visit any time period in history, what time period would you want to go visit?
Ooh, that's kind of hard. Dang, I'm saying that's kind of hard for everything, right? One time period in history, any time period history.
Mm-hmm.
So that means it could only be from the past, right?
It could be the future too. Actually, only like there's been one Krista.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah.
I think she's the one who brought up the future angle.
I would want to go to the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because I did mention, right? I mentioned that somebody talking about the past, like somebody that I would want to talk about the past would be my family, but I would definitely want to go travel to the future and see what's up, see how things go. Yeah.
Okay. Right on. And then, what are some goals that you have for the rest of 2020?
For the rest of 2020, definitely just get closer with my family, help them out. Save up money. I'm thinking about moving out, save up money for that, but that's definitely a further goal because I have other stuff to worry about. Finish writing songs.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I don't do any EP, I never want to rush things, right? But I definitely want to finish some songs. Keep working on that. I have a keyboard, right? Electric one. Learn that.
Nice.
I have I bought this thing that teaches you how to play it.
Yeah.
So I want to really use that. So I said writing, learning piano, being closer to my family, and staying healthy. That's pretty much. Yeah, and still finding ways to help out. during this quarantine.
Right. Always.
Yeah. Oh, and also like really working on mental health.
Mm.
You know, I graduated with psychology, my bachelor's in psychology. So
Mm.
it's kind of funny, like you always like tell people like, hey, try this to make yourself feel better. But it's always like different when it comes to yourself.
Right.
So it's really focusing on like really making sure that that I'm doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kind of a weird side question. Is this like, is it normal for like psychologists to need psychologists?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
That's normal.
always need somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
You always
is there like a never ending chain of like psychologists serving
there
other
is.
psychologists?
There is. Actually, I remember a student asked one of my teachers that, and they said, "Yep, you need it." It's like, you know, it's so easy to give out advice, and then it's a little bit harder to take advice.
Yeah.
Like to do it yourself, right? Take your own advice, they say. So definitely need somebody to help you as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you do that vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Right on.
Yeah. So shout out, you know, everybody listening, y'all can hit me up if
Yes.
you have if you want to talk about anything. I'm here. If you just need somebody to listen to you, I'm here. Yo, I'm here for you guys, because you know, every single, you know, not just during this pandemic, but life, it can get really rough,
Mm-hmm.
especially inside your head, and especially if we don't talk about it. So I'm my time is open for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even if I don't even know you.
Yeah. Damn, I love hearing that.
It's true.
All right.
We're there for each other.
Mm-hmm. Last question. If you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Definitely, you know how I was talking to you about music,
Mm-hmm.
like when I was younger. I guess I don't regret anything in the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely tell little Sammy, like maybe trying to do your music a little bit earlier.
Okay. So,
Maybe like trying to really be like, hey, like I can do this, right?
mm-hmm.
But again, like I never I don't regret not doing it, right? Because I feel like everything has a reason, everything has a time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just also is like keep being a person that spreads love.
Yeah.
Just keep that, because that's so important.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's literally the reason why my name is Samy Love. Because when I was younger, I told myself that's my rapper name.
Hey.
Like literally, that's what I was telling myself, this is my rapper name. You know, because I wanted to spread love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, really appreciate you for taking some time out of your day to do this again. If you want to go ahead and plug anything, I know you don't have your music up yet, but I mean, if there's anything you want to plug, go ahead and do it.
Definitely plug the Leela Project.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their Instagram is at the Leela Project. And yeah, that's what I would plug. That's what I would plug. And then I will have music out. I actually made it a goal. We're talking about goals. I made it a goal with one of my friends to finish a song by this month. That way I could have it out next month.
Hey, okay.
Yeah.
August, right around my birthday too. All right, I like
Oh,
that.
there you go. Happy early birthday. I am putting this out for you. It's your birthday present.
Yo, appreciate that.
Yeah, but in all seriousness, that's what I'm planning to do. And then whenever I do have my page up, it would be Samy Love.
Okay.
You know, I'm trying to work on that because I know that there are some Samy Loves on Spotify right now, but I don't know how that works out yet. So we'll see how that goes.
But you're
Pretty sure.
you're the Samy Love.
Oh,
But you gotta kick him out, you know.
no kicking out. But thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I'll just spell it differently.
Yeah, of course.
3 M's. Or 5, maybe. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah. But also, like, thank you for having this platform. Thank you for, you know, even telling me, like, hey, you want to do an interview?
Yeah.
I'm grateful to have met you through helping out the community, you know.
For real.
And it's pretty cool seeing you grow so much during this time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you've had a lot of incredible artists come by.
Mm-hmm.
And you've interviewed them, so I'm sure you're very proud of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Know that I'm proud of you. Yeah, just keep going. You know, you started another podcast, so that's a plug. Plugging that one in. You started another one. Oh, wait, can you see me? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I see you working, and I really hope that I also see some videos of your poetry.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Oh, is it August? Are you gonna drop it on the
Maybe
same day I drop a song?
maybe I mean we can coordinate something. Honestly,
Yeah.
like after this, I was gonna try and do something with the video. So like
Okay.
just baby steps. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, let's say, hey, I don't know if this is gonna be on the podcast, but if you want to, maybe we could do like I could help you take a video or something.
That'd be tight. Yeah.
Yeah.